and we're live. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So, welcome to the new episode of Sara and Nick's SEO podcast. I really think that we should find a better name, but we didn't for 1 year. So I really to some extent appreciate that name. At the end of the day, today we have amazing pleasure to host one of the let's say Serbian, but I would say Balkan European best SEOs, and that's Dragan Berak. So, Dragan, thank you so much for joining us today,
Thank you
and
for having me.
for you're welcome again. This was so hyped, on my end, Sarah's too. So we usually start with some quick intro. I know that you have amazing career behind you, that you are super active in communities, but I wanted to, hear from the, firsthand, uh, how you would introduce yourself to the
Yeah.
wider public there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here with you guys. And yeah, about me, been working with internet or on the internet for 15 years, 16 years now, actually, since
Nice.
2010. Yeah, so I don't look that old, right? But I am. So started with e-commerce in 2010. Then a couple of years been there, and then doing some agency work. Of course, wanted to see how that octopus mode looks like. Juggling many clients and all that. And of course, I have my own agency. Like it's a really small agency, maybe like a boutique agency. I'm just a consultant, so I don't do like the usual agency work, just consulting for a couple of clients. And I'm a head of SEO at Gento Media since 2019. Back then it was Catena Media, and then it was acquired by Gento, etc. So, and I've been working there ever since. Affiliate marketing, iGaming, so e-commerce, SaaS, plethora of industries. So that's
I need to admit there, when I listen to this intro, again, I'm sad we will not have time to dig in deeper in all of these
Yeah.
areas. But from my perspective, it's very similar. Maybe that's something on the Balkan how SEOs actually start here, because I started also in the iGaming. Basically I was kind of black hat. Maybe
Mhm.
maybe even fully black hat at the beginning, but at the end of the day, I switch up to the white side, and again, when I listen to you and your uh, diversity of experience that you have, it's really amazing. Yeah, I would start with that.
I
Just
have a comment just
yeah.
for all the non-Serbian audience. I asked Dragan about his name because it's very interesting. Actually, first I thought it's like a nickname, right? But then it's actually his name, and it's not Dragan as in dragon. Like it's a Serbian name that's common, and it's Dragan with an A at the end. Like there's a difference, but it does sound so. Yeah, that was interesting and cool to learn. Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and actually, my father is the same name, so it's very
Wow.
common name. Yeah, yeah,
It's kind of
yeah,
common in Serbia, but yeah,
yeah. But outside, it's more dragon. If you talk like that, yeah,
Also, is
so.
Serbia in World Cup?
No, unfortunately,
No.
no.
Okay,
No,
so
that's
so
painful topic.
I'm Egyptian Canadian. Egypt is in World Cup and Canada is in the World Cup, so that's interesting. I'm
you
Exactly,
watching,
wait.
yeah, for
Either
sure,
way, yeah.
for sure.
but
You don't have
none is winning. I know none is gonna win. I know, which
but
is
okay, at least you have representatives. That's
yeah,
important.
right.
So,
Participation
Dragon,
trophy.
yeah, at least compared to us. Dragon, first question I would really love to open you mentioned affiliate marketing, you mentioned iGaming, you mentioned agency work. At times you stood up as a consultant. Can you just guide us through that points just briefly, and what actually made you okay, I'm gonna stick to be consultant? Why you didn't query you are head of SEO for 7 years, yeah, from 2019, so 7 years. It's also a great role, but I really think mostly nowadays from top end community, I see people having one maybe main role and then consultants on the side. They didn't opt in for agency. They didn't stuck with some in-house work only. So that's my question. Like, what made you, into consultant that you are today, and why you didn't stick to some of other niches, let's say, in the SEO?
Right, right. That's a great question. Yeah, one of the reasons why I even like started with an in-house, because I wanted to see that, I wanted to have that experience of working for a company. This company setting, it's a different kind of an animal, if you like, than working with agency, because you're not really digging deep into certain topics, certain areas of SEO. Whereas if you work for a company, you're able to actually tackle many different things on many different layers. So I wanted to have access to that. That's one of the reasons I wanted to work in house, and also not mention a lot of tools that you can use, a lot of enterprise tools. You don't have access to that also when you work for an agency, because agencies are, as we know, trying to satisfy many different clients, and deliverables and sales. It's always about sales. I'm not saying that you don't get to do sales within like an in-house company. You're selling to internal clients, so product is your client, for example, tech, devs, etc., sales even. So we're all fighting for development time, of course, development resources. So it's kind of, you got to do sales as well. But I wanted to do the consultancy as well, because it gets you to in front of different websites, again, different teams, different kind of problems. And if you keep your mind stuck into like one vertical, even one business setting, I don't think it's a good if you want to develop as a professional. So you gotta feel how it feels, basically working directly with clients, and again working in-house when you have team. I have a team of SEOs as well, so running that part of the business. And maybe it's just me, maybe I'm that kind of a guy. I'm kind of curious. I have a curious mind, and always wanted to try different things. So that's how I ended up here.
Before we end up, I know Sara will take over after this question with more interesting questions. We right now, again, as I said, we are experienced like podcast hosts, so I need to compare like amazing growth marketeer Nick from Cyprus. He was our guest like I think 2 episodes ago, and he's also like your answer. It's so like connected for me and relevant to his, because he also said like fighting with the dev time, not implementing like everything you want, like struggles in house, but at the same time yeah, he opted in for in house. And later on we chat together. I hope I will not spoil anything, but he said like at the end of the day he also have that urge to consult at the side, because I really think that's like the way how you are developing. For me,
Exactly.
honestly, I had opportunity like again similar to do a lot of stuff. I was always consultant, but like then I switched fully towards the agency, and I'm enjoying it. But I still feel that like maybe the best fit also for myself is to have one main project to build on, and then to have agency and some sort of consultancy. At the end of the day. But we are too deep with the clients right now for me to give that opportunity to myself. But anyway, regarding that amazing answer, and I just wanted to make that connection. Clearly, we can now start with more interesting SEO questions. I will like first open up with this, and then Sara will take over and sharing that. So, what's happening with AI? What's happening with AI search? What's happening with LLM? What's new nowadays in the SEO industry from your perspective?
I'm gonna start with something maybe a bit controversial, but it's getting more expensive, to be honest. With all the advancements with new models, especially with Claude, if you're talking about Claude here, the latest one, Mythos and all that. So it's gonna be more and more expensive, burning tokens like crazy. So with these new models, you'll have to figure out what you're using for reasoning, for more complex tasks, what's needed for something that's kind of easier to understand and to cope with. So I'm really in awe how all this is going to play out. I'm not really sure, because these companies, they're still burning money. I think OpenAI, they kind of make 4 billion a year, and they spend 9. So I don't know how that makes sense. Of course, this is still like early stages, and investors are still investing into this. But I'm just looking at the economics and all, like finance. Of course, follow the money. It's always a good, way to understand things. So that's on that financial side, and I think that has some consequences to our SEO work, because as I said, I'm hitting the wall with Claude more often now, because I have to be really careful when I use it, how I use it, how complex the tasks are, etc., etc. So that's new for me. I'm not sure if that's new for your audience here, but that's something I'm facing with currently. Yeah.
I'm hearing this more often. I'm trying also to be careful when I'm building a project, and there's things I started doing manually to to minimize I use it where it actually matters, right? So since we're talking about Claude and automations, can you give us some idea of how you automate your SEO workflows for an audit, for example, right? So how would you use Claude or other options available there to automate your processes?
Yeah, first and foremost, there's two main things. Maybe Claude didn't do a good job explaining those, but there's artifacts and skills. So these are, I always start with that. It's not really maybe intuitive for a lot of people, because once they log into Claude, you see chat, co-work, Claude code, and all that, and intuitively you're gonna click on that, what you see. But I think that people should start familiarize themselves with artifacts and skills. So what are artifacts? That's basically the output that you have, a file that Claude produces for you after some interaction with it. And skills are basically repeatable workflows that you can instill to Claude. So once you're satisfied with the output that you've created with Claude, tell it, create a skill based on this, and then you rinse and repeat. So you can later on, you can edit it, you can improve it if you're not satisfied with the output, etc. And I think that's how you scale your work, how you scale your time. And then you can maybe share these skills with your team within your organization, and then they can just apply that to different projects. So you can say, hey, Claude, run this skill and apply it to this domain, and you get the output. And that's maybe how you scale. So
okay, but what areas you think you shouldn't fully automate or you shouldn't automate? Because there's a lot of people that are I'm sure you've seen the posts on LinkedIn, I automated the entire workflow, and I saw one person literally saying, why would anyone hire an SEO? I asked Claude to do a content strategy, and it did the whole thing for me. And I had so much to say, I wasn't sure where to start, and I'm okay, I'm not responding to, it's just too much for this is someone telling me they don't know what they're doing, they don't know how AI works, and they don't know SEO that enough. It just telling me that they don't know what they're talking about at all. But yeah, so what are your thoughts?
Unfortunately, probabilistic models and all that kind of even jargon and wording and all that, it's not really familiar to people, and they just stop at that point and this AI, this is almighty and all-knowing thing, but it's not. Of course, these are, if you go really deep down to what LLMs are, basically very advanced text predictors, if you like. So I know I'm really awfully making it really simple here, but that's basically what it is. So it doesn't have an index, which search engines have. So that's also one of the problems. And automating the entire workflows, one of the things that people usually forget. So it's hallucinations. So they hallucinate. So whenever it's built in a way that it has to give you some kind of an answer. It has to. So even if it's completely wrong, so it will give you something. So I would always include this human in the loop. Definitely never use LLMs for keyword research and stuff like that. Even if you connect it to many different tools, there's ways now to do that via model context protocols, MCPs so-called. So you can basically connect Ahrefs, GSC, Google Analytics, and you can chat with your data. But even then, hallucinations are happen. So that's really like a nasty thing if you don't think about it, and if you know what you're dealing with. So good thing with LLMs and AIs in general, I think, use it to analyze data, like, but really systematic data. So tables, they understand headers and rows and columns and all that. So they will spot patterns that humans can't. So I would start with that, and once you really get yourself comfortable working with that, and then go on to something more complex. But we're still far away from AGI, so this is not something that's happening anytime soon, I think. And as I think Andrei Karpathy said, the hottest programming language right now is English. So learn how to interact with AI. So what to ask it, how to ask it, and what output you.
I actually like this quote. I actually like what you and you know what? I also a quote I read somewhere. It says, "I asked AI to do a task that I know how to do very well, and the output was very bad. Then I asked it to do a task I have no idea about, and the output was very good." So it just means that because you don't know what is good, right, for a task that you have no idea about, you will assume it's, wow, this is a lot and it's everything, but
it
it's
sounds
really not.
overly confident. That's
Yes.
the trick, and people will always use comfort over truth. So that's kind of we should be, why people are using, because it's easy. I can ask it and I'll get an answer. And
It's interesting you mentioned comfort because our brains actually seek the easiest path. Like they're trying to reduce any effort we do. Like, I don't want to say, like, that's how like they're pushing away anything that consumes energy, and thinking requires a lot of energy. So a lot of people don't think. And if you think about it, we've been talking about the limitations of LLMs for years now, and these conversations keep happening. It's incredibly frustrating. It's like how many times do we have to say the same thing? It's I think sometimes we just have to save our energy for something that's more intellectual, something is more worthy of our time, because it's just I'm really like, I'm trying to keep the conversation positive, but it's just hard, incredibly frustrating. And then one part of using LLMs for SEO that people totally forget is that, let's say you give it a prompt for a task and it delivers an output. Sometimes you're not able to verify what it did not include, right? Opportunities that it's not aware of.
Yeah.
So even if you give it a list of all the keywords, right? You throw everything there, you gave it the input, and it comes up with a content strategy. You don't know what opportunities that were there in your data that it just missed and did not bring. It's not comprehensive. So that's a very problematic thing, really. And again, it's the impression of completeness, the confidence, right? And people just normally take the easiest path. It's very common in SEO, I guess.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And one of the most, maybe the hardest things right now are for juniors, because they don't know what's good and what's not actually good and useful, and they will have even a harder time right now to adapt. For people that are in the industry for, I don't know, years now, decades even, so it's going to be much easier, not much easier, maybe I'm over reacting here, but it's going to be easier to understand what's a good output and what's not a good output. For example, the same goes with what's a bad content. So you got to understand it, what's really good and useful for users and what not. And also, I always say, like, whenever you even analyze a website, I say, like, behave as every single pixel on the site is a ranking factor. So because every single CTA, color, menu, everything, that's a decision that has to be made, and you're forcing your visitors to make a decision. So if they have to make too many decisions, they're just going to leave. So it's again, that's I'm just trying to connect with the thing that you said, going back to that, like, energy, we're spending too much energy, too many decisions, and that's why this simple chat, it's kind of deceiving. You think that's, like, it's really good and you can easily use it, but it has to come with a manual, if you ask me.
Yeah, I just wanted to like add my 2 cents here, but I think like our listeners are like mostly they know what we are doing, and they know like how we are like approaching to SEO. I mean here on Sara and myself.
Mhm.
I completely agree with you. Like there is like a lot of interesting things that you guys mentioned. Like first and foremost, as you said, Dragan, regarding like Claude, actually like the whole magic of Claude is in skills that like are not like explained enough. That are not like people are not actually heading in that direction to understand that part. They're trying to do something on very basic, I would say surface level
Yeah.
of AI, like can you give me 1,000 articles? Can you give me like this? Can you give me that? And it's bullshit. It's horrible. So when we like understand that, I really agree with Sara. I really think that first and foremost, though, unfortunately, those people that are like in majority right now, they're trying to make quick buck, and I don't have anything against that. Like I respect the hustle, but at the end of the day, they're showing two things: they're not understanding LLMs at all or AI, and second thing, they're not even understanding SEO. So when you combine those two, then like I'm really not worried about anything that can like affect our industry based on that. But mostly, as you said, like I really think with the juniors and clearly like that entry level roles, we have like some potential problem. Not only here, like IT industry is the same. But yeah, regarding like LMs, I just wanted to ask you here, like do you have like some specific setup? You mentioned those skills in Claude. You mentioned like different stuff. So I wanted to know, especially because like you're working again as consultant and then like in house, do you have like some systems in place? You have team of SEO experts that you manage. So do you have like some skills built up there? Do you have any automation plugged in there, or
Mhm.
you are still like handling that based on the need that currently arise?
Yeah, sure. Of course, there are many things you can do with Claude. First and foremost, maybe create separate projects for different things that you're doing. If you, for example, just to give a quick example, so if you have some on-page stuff that you're doing and maybe content strategy, have a project for that, give it more context, add all the files you think would be helpful, add your brand guidelines, add your instructions, etc., so that it knows whenever the output is required, it's going to be like the same and standardized. You don't have to spend time on that. And of course, create skills for content writing, for following. If you're working for clients, you create a skill where you explain that it has to follow client guidelines, brand guidelines, for example. So it feels much more kind of connected to clients when they're reading that report, because they will see their brand colors, etc. So these kind of things as well. Other kinds of automations, for example, competitive analysis. If you plug in the Ahrefs, it will actually compare for you. You don't have to go manually into Ahrefs and see if there are any backlinks that your competitors have and you don't. Then, as I mentioned, writing guidelines, maybe writing content briefs. It's not perfect, but it can help immensely. So you can reach, I don't know, maybe 90% of the satisfaction with it. And then again, human in the loop, don't forget that, has to go in and actually do the other work that's needed, like some specifics. What else? Technical analysis as well. If you plug in crawl data from Screaming Frog, there's also an MCP for that, or Sitebulb, it's coming real soon. For Ahrefs, I said already. Then what else off the top of my head? Basically, these kind of things. Of course, usual like daily digest, weekly reports. If you connect, like as I said, GSC, GI4, Ahrefs, maybe even some crawler, or if you have log file analysis tool, we're using one of the really good ones. So all the logs are being pulled in like on a daily basis, up to I think 10 gigabytes of access logs. So you can really ask Google bot where it spends time on a daily level, so you get a gist of what's happening and what you should be optimizing for, I guess.
Yeah,
Right.
amazing. Sarah, you can like again take over with more
Yeah.
interesting question. But yeah, Dragan, thank you so much for sharing that. I really think this is like the way how we should like head regarding like applying AI there. And again, like I think really that people need to work on education first and foremost. and everything else will come along.
Okay. My question. Look, it's a conversation. I don't want to make you feel like we're bombarding you with questions and just you can like
That's like a job interview. So am
Yes.
I hired or not?
Yes. Okay. We should have brought more
Shoot.
people with more questions, and then we're no.
Yeah,
Anyway,
definitely.
so what are your thoughts on where's Google search heading? Like there is obviously an increase in the zero clicks. We're getting questions from stakeholders. If you're working with clients, I'm sure people are raising questions. If you're working in-house, it's the same. What are your thoughts on this, tackling this, and so on? Yeah.
Yeah, of course, great minds in our industry like Rand Fishkin. Wanted to say like the articles that we mentioned online. Sometimes she's even quoting Rand Fishkin online. What I wanted to say that where Google search is headed, I think that they are still figuring this out. You know, they had this like first quarter. I think it was Q3, over 100 billion revenue. So it's a lot of money is being poured into search, and I don't think that they're gonna use AI mode as easily as people think. You know, it's like switch to AI mode and it's gonna be awesome. It's really AI overviews. They're here to stay. I think they're going to use that a lot. So it's like a known feature that, and they say that people are using it. Like 2.5 billion people are using AIOs, even though if it's in front of you, of course you're going to use it. You're going to see it, and I think they're counting impressions, etc. I'm not really sure, to be honest. So what Google is trying, because I've been to their headquarters in Zurich in December. They organized this kind of Google conference for SEO people. Then it's invite only. So I've been there like 2 times, and they talk a lot about optimization, technical optimization, believe it or not. So that means that, of course, as any other company, they have to save resources. So they have some challenges, I guess, with indexing, and I think that's going to be like 2026. By the end of 2026, there's going to be even more talks about indexing, how that can help websites or how it's not helping websites, etc. And what I can see from the sites I'm working on, it's really going wild. So a lot of pages going out of index, and I don't know why it's happening, except for these kinds of resources that they're trying to preserve. So I know I haven't offered any really useful answer to you, but I still think that they are also figuring out what's going to be next with Google search and how this is going to look as a product, because that's they need to monetize this. That's the biggest hurdle for them and for anybody else that's using Google search.
Yeah, because you mentioned technical part, I just wanted to add here a question. Do you believe in everything what's happening? Like, first and foremost, I never believed in Google documentation. Again, that's like my background. I come like again pretty much from Black Hat, part. So we never like took that as any reference. But it's really funny to me what they are doing, for example, with LLMs .txt and similar like schemas. First and foremost, I'm very big believer in schema. I also like shared some experiments with Sara before regarding that. Regarding like LM text, I'm still like trying to get like some positive impacts of that. We see that like logs from the ChatGPT bot, like they're actually crawling LM text file constantly, looking for some new information details. So when we're talking about technical stuff, what do you think about those things that are pretty much I would say like on the edge if they're true or not, but like what's your opinion on everything that's like going on right now with suggestions regarding AI?
The only reason why it's on the edge, I think, that's because of Google. They said, we don't use LLMs, and even a lot of people are making jokes out of it. And then during the Google I/O, they said they use LLMs .txt for agents to direct them to different parts of websites, etc. And all of a sudden, that's important. So it's kind of and they said like that's maybe like a damage control PR. And yes, but this is not for SEO. This is for agents. It's really ambiguous, and the contradictory messages they've been sending. So I do think that this is this will have an impact on how websites and even businesses appear online. And the latest research from Dixon Jones, is a guy that created this vacay tool.
Okay,
And
next.
thanks. All right, so cool.
I'm
Why I'm
sorry.
mentioning
I have too many enemies. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
that's fine. That's exchanging opinions here. Why I'm mentioning this, because even Steve thought, I'm not sure if I can mention him, but
Look,
he
and look.
Yeah, Steve was amazing.
Okay, let's be.
Steve is good.
Let's keep it professional. You can say whatever
Yeah.
you want. With let's just. Lily is not. No way she's. Yeah. Continue. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Sure.
Yeah,
no
this
worries.
was like, this was more on the Sara sense to make a joke based on that. But yeah, for sure, you can mention people. We just
Yeah.
wanted to, like, make a little bit like joke regarding like the previous
No worries, no worries.
mentioned name.
Oh,
And
I'll
Dragan,
stop dropping
again,
names.
this is not like personal or anything with you. That like it's just a
I'm not
weird
taking it
situation in the background.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Just wanted to to share what I've been reading and what I've been testing as well. One of the things, one of the reasons why I mentioned him, is this thing that Entity Map and even Steve published this research, and I've seen many other agencies are testing this. So this kind of learn about hey AI learn about us page. It's really like a structured HTML page. They put on a root domain and a root folder on domain, and basically LLMs are visiting this. They're reading about, kind of trying to understand what's business is all about and how they understand it, etc. So it's being used by LLMs, and I kind of started thinking I should revisit my judgment on that, because at first I was like, no, this is stupid. We have robots.txt as a standard in the industry. We don't need more, but it looks like we do. So I think that the stuff that's changing, I think.
yeah, for sure. Like for me personally, I also think that I started to applying both of these, and basically like I'm just like following the tests there. Also like one and for me, like maybe with the final interesting question that I prepared for today, it would be regarding the content. Recently, like I'm pretty big on experiments, so like all my career, and I really think like good SEO should have experiment projects and stuff like that. So recently I did some experiment when I didn't touch, like, again, I'm blessed that we can like afford a few projects for experiments, but we didn't touch we didn't touch the content for 1 year at all. And then like both websites that we tested lose over 90% of traffic. It was crazy. Like a general website, whatever. They're even on Serbian, so I need to make that note. They're like on local market. So it's not even on English. And I wanted, like, still we're in that phase. We're gonna do some refreshing. We're gonna do some content for stuff like that. So what's your opinion on content refreshing? We know also that LLMs favor super new content. For me, that's also on the edge, as like from the leak, data, how LLMs judge information from prompt injections and stuff like that. Like, I'm not sure, like, yes, like if you're running news outlet, it's important that you have like, at the end of the day, that you have like, new information. But what's happening with evergreen content? What's happening, with websites that cannot like refresh information like every 7 days? So, what's your experience with content? How are you approaching to this specific point?
Yeah, you said it right. So it also depends on what kind of content we're talking about. So if this is evergreen informational content, it doesn't make much sense. Talking about Eiffel Tower in Paris. Of course, it's there, and we don't have any new information about it. Maybe they painted it last year. Maybe that's a new information, but it's not really that interesting. So, and I'm afraid that LLMs, especially, whatever they can reproduce themselves, whatever they can take from other websites and actually make a summary out of it. So it's not really worth fighting for in terms of like refreshing and all that. But if you have really highly commercial content, and if you're solving a specific problem, that's definitely worth thinking about how can you add more layers of information into your content. And I think from my experience, what I've noticed is that when you do these kinds of refreshments, you get more visibility, impressions going up, and you see more citations and mentions within LLMs. And I don't think it's necessarily because you just like did a content refresh. It's more of a, as I said, doing different things with content from different angles. What kind of new information we added, even if we just explain something more thoroughly, differently, even using rich content formats, tables, bullet points and all that to make it more interesting for users to read and all that. So I think that content refreshments can work, and from what I've seen, they do work. It's only a matter of what are you trying to achieve. So if you're refreshing your blog about travel and it's your hobby, so don't bother it. But if it's highly commercial content, if we're talking about money pages, then I think that it's worth taking another shot and see how we can add more layers of information, because if that's proprietary data first and foremost. So if your company does something and you have really specific data about how your users behave, and you can present that within like numbers and data and graphs, etc., this is definitely very valuable content, because it couldn't be found anywhere else. And there's this quote I like to use from Naval. He says, like, escape competition through authenticity. So nobody can be better than you. So
Amazing. I would like thank you so much. Like basically, again, the people always say like, hey, we are bringing guests with the same opinions and same approach as us. But I just want to say that we are bringing like the best that we can find and that we think that like people can learn from. So Dragan, I thank you so much. Like for
Thank
me
you.
personally, I really think this is super aligned with my approach, with Sara's approach too, to the SEO, to the AI and everything there. So from my part, like with interesting questions, like that would be it. But I'm sure that Sara can like add a few more there, so that we
Sure,
can
go ahead.
like share more insights with listeners.
Okay, my thoughts, or one of the things that came to mind, how do you double check the output, right? When you use an AI for automation, how do you make sure it's good, there's no mistakes, no hallucinations?
Yeah, sure. Well, I made a habit around this. I haven't noticed it until only recently. I always ask LLM, "Are you sure? Give me another opinion. Where did you find this out? Is that true?" Etc. So giving a lot of pushback to LLM itself, that's useful. But of course, checking data from that, especially numbers, because it can and will hallucinate. So do not rely like 100% of the output, even though if you're using MCP, because even Google Search Console, it's changing things all the time. URLs dropping out of index and going back into index, etc. So it's changing a lot, and numbers do not match. So that's one of the main things how I actually test an LLM when I do any kind of research.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, what is your tips for someone starting in the LLMs era? Because like a lot of people are doing SEO and they're starting now to switch and learn more about LLMs and optimizing for LLMs. Not without getting into the debate, is there differences or not? But what are your thoughts? Where should they start working and learning on how to optimize for those new platforms?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think one of the biggest challenges and one of the biggest problems, I would say, that people are encountering is that they want to become advanced right from the beginning. That's a big mistake. You should watch this long video, how LLMs work. I think that's the name. It's 3.5 hours. I think that Andre explains this. So trying to understand how that actually works, how that technology works, and then when you're done with this myth busting, so you understand this is not some super intelligent being hidden in your computer. It's a technology that it's a like complex statistical mathematical models So when you understand this, you will have this like subconsciously, whenever you use it, you're okay, this is a machine, I'm talking to a machine. It's not like super omnipotent being, and it can make mistakes. And with that mindset, you will be more cautious whenever you connect any tools with it, whatever you're trying to accomplish, even writing content, even I don't know, producing briefs, doing some competitive analysis, etc. So I would say like start with the basics, really read the manual. So I think it's really needed because it will actually open your eyes and you will get many different perspectives how this technology works, and you will use it properly, I would say.
Yeah, and as we are coming close to the end, I wanted to ask something that we discussing. I need to say in preparation of this, and you mentioned like auditing, doing the audits and like auditing websites regarding SEO and LM. Also, I don't want to be super controversial here, but yeah, there is that difference. If someone asks you right now, hey, can you do the audit for my website? And like, do you even make separation from, between SEO and let's say AI search? I really don't like, G or whatever. Like, do you
Yeah.
make separation there? Yeah, or do you just like approach into that? Let's like, first and foremost, like see what's happening with your SEO, and then like let's add something more on top of that. And what is that something more regarding the AI search and LLMs?
Yeah, absolutely. Good AEO, GEO, LMO, it's really good SEO. So you have to start with the basics. So if your site is not crawlable, it won't be indexed. And so adding any kind of content or any kind of advanced optimization won't work. That's the way it is. So I do not separate those two. Definitely, all the like basic things like 15, 20 years ago, of course they've been developed. It's not the same. It's not like you optimize titles, you're going to rank, but that again, titles are still important, even more so today, even like meta descriptions, because this is something that it's like directly ranking factor, but this is something that people read before they click. So it's your chance to present your product, present your service, etc. So they will click if there's something interesting in there. So yes, I always start with basics, SEO things that are like known for ages now, doing the crawl and looking at the data, and also coming up with a strategy. I think that SEOs should move towards product more and more, because you got to understand what's the underlying strategy for that business. And I always do this. I try to learn about a business. So you cannot do the audit if you don't know how they make money, if you don't know what could be the main problems of their ICPs and what they're trying to solve, basically. And then when you understand this, then you sit and think about what's the best approach for them. And I always do this. It's more of a tailored approach. It's I like to use this analogy. Whenever you go to the doctors, you need to do the analysis and then get some prescriptions or medications. So before that, it's really naive, and even it's not really serious job or work saying something that like you need to change your titles because of that.
Yeah, high five. That absolutely, yeah.
Okay, we like to wrap our podcast with asking, what are you working on? So for me, I'm working on doing data studies, right? I'm looking into ideas to build data studies. I'm passing this to you, Dragan and Nick. And it can be something SEO or something personal. Both would work.
Yeah, I can say like then personal, because like Sara is like super like invested in automations and AI, whatever. So currently, I'm planning like some travel finally after a few years with my family. So that's gonna be like on the personal side, what's going on like in my life currently. So Dragan, your turn. Like you can like share anything interesting if there is something.
I'm not that fun. I started learning about NA10, how to employ agents to improve certain workflows and all that. So just started watching some courses. So we'll love to learn more about that from Sara if she's available.
Always available. One DM away.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, that would be it, Dragan. I thank you so much. Like once again that you took part like in this amazing conversation.
I
that
have
we
a
had.
disclaimer before we wrap up.
Yeah.
So there have been some people mentioned in the podcast that I strongly disagree with, and they're not welcome on my podcast. So these are my personal opinions. These Dragan and Nick have no connection to this whatsoever. It's all me. So I'm taking this as, yeah, I just don't want to come off like I'm not trying to impose my issues on other people or anything. So yeah, just to be clear, they have no involvement in this. Yeah, just
No problems. All good.
Thank you.
All good.
Yeah, thank you, Sara, for that. Dragan, once again, thank you so much for taking part in this. It was a pleasure. I really think that
Likewise.
you mentioning constantly like I'm not fun, whatever. But I really think that Sara and we didn't have like more crispier podcast in terms like of asking the questions, and I really think that if you're open to that, maybe like 6 months from now, or who knows, when something interesting happens, we can like repeat this, and then you can like teach us how we can like employ agents to do all of that magical work with just a few words.
Cool. Sounds like fun. Why not? Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. It was really fun, and I enjoyed it.
thank you once again.
thank you.
That was
Thank
it.
you. Okay,
Bye bye.
let me-
Take care.
Bye.